70s, New York City was a gritty, unforgiving place to try and make a living. For one unknown actor, the city was particularly brutal. Unable to pay rent, he found himself homeless, sleeping inside the Port Authority bus terminal just to survive the freezing nights. The absolute bottom came outside a local liquor store. Out of money and unable to afford food, he stood on the sidewalk weeping as he sold his beloved English Mastiff to a stranger for $25. That destitute man at the bottom of society was a young Sylvester Stallone. This was the baseline of his life. It was a starting point that would define every choice he made once Hollywood finally came calling. Stallone was born with partial facial paralysis. It left him with a trademark snarl and slurred speech. Casting directors were brutal. After hundreds of auditions, they explicitly told him he looked funny and talked funny. To stay alive while chasing his career, he took degrading menial jobs, cleaning zoo cages and ushering at theaters. The film industry had actively disqualified him based on physical traits he couldn't change. The turning point arrived while watching a boxing match featuring heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali. Ali's opponent was an extreme underdog named Chuck Wepner. Wepner surprised the world by absorbing brutal punishment and going the distance, sparking an idea about a relatable fighter overcoming impossible odds. Stallone went home and began a blistering 20-hour writing marathon that spanned 3 days. He channeled his own desperation, pouring a furious, obsessive energy into the screenplay for a movie called Rocky. The resulting script was a personal survival manual transcribed onto paper. Studios loved the story, but they universally demanded a recognized, bankable star for the lead, refusing to cast the unknown writer. They pushed for Hollywood heavyweights, starting with James Caan. When that didn't work, they pitched Burt Reynolds. The studios tried to buy the script outright and remove Stallone completely. The cash offers escalated rapidly, from $125,000 to $250,000. This chart illustrates the widening gap between the studio's peak offer, a guaranteed $350,000, and Stallone's empty bank account. He was a starving man, refusing life-changing wealth because he refused to surrender his own potential. The studio finally offered a punishing compromise. Stallone could star, but with a micro-budget of $1 million, a tight 28-day shooting schedule, and a meager $35,000 script fee. With that $35,000 check in hand, Stallone returned to the liquor store and waited 3 days for the stranger who had bought his dog. He bought his dog, Buttkiss, back for $15,000, immediately erasing almost half of his hard-won profit. Reclaiming his companion cost nearly half of the first significant paycheck he had ever earned. His first victory was reclaiming the loyal companion he had sacrificed at his lowest point. Rocky released in 1976. That $1 million budget turned into $225 million worldwide. The film shocked Hollywood by sweeping the Academy Awards, securing Best Picture and Best Director. The struggling actor who had slept in a bus station was catapulted into global superstardom overnight. The staggering success proved that his uncompromising gamble on himself was the right choice. That single bet laid the foundation for an enduring cultural icon. This timeline illustrates a rare box office milestone. Stallone has starred in a #1 film at the domestic box office in 6 consecutive decades. The Rocky legacy is still actively expanding today, marked by a 50th anniversary theater remaster and an upcoming biographical film. He secured an ultimate, hard-fought victory against impossible odds. Stallone proved that refusing to sell your future, even when you can't afford a meal, is how a single person ends up shaping the culture for half a century.